Welcome back, y'all. Man, Tennessee wins a good game versus UAB, 56-24. I really feel like Tennessee probably could have done a little bit better, but either way, y'all please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be starting this one off without P. Not sure if he's going to be able to join us, and we wanted to do the pregame show, but my nephew's game that ran over time, so it's tough. Whenever Tennessee plays early, it's tough for us to get in here and get this stuff done, but. Thank y'all so much for joining us. I think that we played pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Definitely some things that we need to get cleaned up. I'm going to go on ahead and pull up these stats for y'all. So getting this from ESPN. All right. And let me get on up in here. All right. So first and foremost, I think that the passing yards could have been a little bit better. Obviously, Joey Aguilar, he played very well. The offensive line, to me, looked good. The only thing that I'll point to with Tennessee's, offensive line at this point is with Shamrod Umarov, and we've talked about that for the members on Patreon. We've talked some about that on YouTube, but I think that he needs to take a couple of steps forward. Doesn't feel like he always knows what to do. And some with Sam Pendleton, but I mean, obviously going up against UAB, their defense it's not good. And I talked about, Tennessee would, some maybe challenges in this game was really with their offense. Their offense is a good scheme. So Tennessee gives up 24 points. Most of that came with our backups and so on and so forth. But either way, do not sleep on the defense. I know there's going to be some people that are angry at the defense. We have to get better, but this is a really good offensive scheme. I think that UAB's offensive line is really good. They have a good quarterback. I mean, like it's probably would be, if you were to put them in the SEC, that might be like the 10th best offense, maybe even higher than that. So, and that's just only their offense, exactly how it is. I'm telling you. They're not slouches over there. But either way, I think that Joey Aguilar played well. Mark probably needs to, I don't know. I mean, I want to see more GMAC. Mark, I don't think he's seeing the field very well. There's times when people are wide open. He's, just kind of like standing there. As far as the wide receivers, though, I think that they played well. I'll get to the rushing here in just a second. I think that obviously Brazo, he's still playing very well. 5 catches, 62 yards. 1 touchdown. Mike Matthews, I think that he did some good things. 3 catches, 53 yards, 1 touchdown. For me, with Mike, I want to see him go after the football just a little bit more. I think that is something that Tennessee's going to need moving forward because Joey Aguilar, he's going to throw up the football. You got to go and get it. It was one where he had an opportunity to make a touchdown catch, and he tries to one-handed. Dog, go get it with 2 hands. He is a dog. He's got to start doing more of that. He's a guy who could – he would probably be Tennessee's best safety right now if he was playing his safety. Like, use that type of mindset on offense. I need for him to take some steps forward. Obviously, I'm not trying to be overly critical or nothing like that. I'm like, we all should have been looking past this game and looking towards what's going to help us make it to the college football playoffs, what's going to help us win a national championship. We got SEC stuff coming up pretty much every other game. We've got one other kind of like slouch game later in the season, but we got to step it up. Braylon Staley, I think that he played well. 3 catches, 50 yards. Okay, he didn't get any touchdowns. Braylon Harmon, man, he almost got him one right there at the end. So that last little drive there. I think that Coach Heupel was probably pissed off because typically he's just gonna like run the clock out, so on and so forth. But it's good to see that he's still got that fire in him. But I would say that Braylon Harmon, he showed me some things. Kit, I think that he played well. 2 catches, 27 yards. Star Thomas, he looks good. Our running backs need to do a better job of catching the football coming out of the backfield. Star Thomas, I'm going to tell y'all, actually, let me start going through my notes, and then we'll come right back to these stats here in just a second. But let me share my notes with y'all. All right, so first and foremost, okay, the number one thing that I have, we've already touched on this, is that Sham, he needs to play better, okay? Like, he's going to have to, and he's not playing horrible, but I don't know when David Sanders is going to be coming back. So until he comes back, Sham's really got to take a couple of steps forward because we're going to see better pass rush than what we saw today versus UAB. We finally gave up 1 sack. That was Mark. He was in, again, get rid of the freaking football. Do something with the ball. Don't just keep standing there. Like, you got to do better. Joey Aguilar did a good job of getting us out of a couple of sacks. But number 2, we've already touched on this, that Mike needs to go get the football. Number 3, I think that for the defense, the tackling does need to be better. This team didn't make us play out in space too much. That was never any worry for me. It was more of their actual scheme. It's tough to stop a team that can utilize the entire field. They're very multiple with what they're doing. Some of the like X's and O's stuff that we break down on this channel, that's why I said that, man, it's going to be kind of tough in our passing game. I think that relatively speaking, we did okay, but they might have hit on more passes. I think that they broke like a school record for passing completions or something. That's not a good look. I don't care if we got our backups in. Not a good look. And then also, I would say, by the way, some of our backups in the secondary, they need to take steps forward. We got to find more people. There's steps forward that this team needs to take. So let's go on. So number 4 for me, Star Thomas, like we were just talking about. That's Tennessee's best running back. I mean, it's like not even close at this point. He is on a totally different level than those other backs. They need to catch up. They need to do better. But I think that he played pretty well, obviously making people miss when people are missing blocks up front. That's a problem. There's some things that we can do with our scheme to help our running game out some more that we need to. I was hoping that we would have saw more of that this week. Had to go back and watch the film to see if we even tried that. But yeah, I mean, our running game could definitely be better. So, yeah, but Star Thomas, he's that dude I would like to actually see him starting moving forward. If it's a critical situation, critical moments, I want to see Star Thomas just because he can catch the football, everything else. So outside of that, and then also too with Star Thomas, I'm gonna need for you to work on your sellies, dog. Like I think that his after you score, let's figure out what we're gonna do. Okay, like we got to get that right. That needs to look a lot more crisp than what that looked like today. Just kind of like picking at small things there. So I think that our defensive tackles played pretty well. Like I said, UAB's offensive line pretty good. The way that they run the football actually targets our defensive tackles. It wasn't really like that last week. They'll be targeted again next week versus Mississippi State. And it's funny because one of the commentators talked about it. He said, well, you got Big Don Bailey who moved from the outside to the inside. We've talked about that for a long time on this channel. He looks more natural playing inside than he does on the outside. But I think that he's really starting to figure it out. So we're adding more depth at defensive tackle, which is a very, very positive thing. And we should get Jackson Moy and also David Hobbs back next week. That's going to be huge for us because we're definitely going to need them moving forward. So, but yeah, outside of that, I would say that guys like Nathan Robinson, I think that he looked good. Obviously, Bryson Easton, he looked like how he always looked. Ethan Utley, he's taking strides. Campbell, he's also taking strides. So, Josh Shell, I mean, we're going to have to I would like to see some more Charles House. I'm just going to say it that way. We need to get him on the field more. I don't know how much he got to play today. He needs to be playing more, right? Hopefully we can get him out there some next week. We're going to need Charles House. Mark my words when I say that. So I think that the linebackers also looked better. I didn't realize that Arion Carter is leading the SEC in tackles right now. I don't know, or at least coming into the game, he was. Need for him to keep on taking strides, but he actually looks like he looked faster out there. Maybe because the team that we're playing, the team that we're playing against is a little bit slower, but he looked better. I think that Jeremiah Thielander looked better. I saw Harmon out there; he looked pretty good. So, the other Jaden, he also looked pretty good. Like we got to get those young guys out there more. Jordan Burns, he flashed a couple of times. Got to finish. We talked about the tackling. Got to do a better job there. Peyton Lewis got some extra reps. That's something else that I found. I thought that was pretty interesting. So Peyton Lewis getting some extra reps. I think that the staff wants to get him going. He needs the extra reps. I think that Bishop could also probably use those extra reps. They more than likely aren't going to be doing that. But, yeah, like we need to have 3 backs that we really, really like. I think that Morris ran the football well. Justin Baker didn't get too many opportunities. But, I thought that he looked pretty good as well. And then also the last thing that I had in here just for like notes is that Boo Carter did force a fumble. And I think that that's the one that Caleb Beasley scored on. So, yeah, I mean, we have to do better. We got to find some more star players. We got to, like those young guys playing at secondary outside of Tyler Redmond, who I think played well. I mean, we got to find more players. Like that's just, we've got to find some more depth there. Hopefully we'll get back at least one more corner at some point this year. I'm not going to bank on that, but yeah, depth there is pretty, it's pretty scarce. So let me get to some of these chats. All right. So this one, all right. Any idea why we are leaving third-string freshman DBs on an island without safety help? Is that helpful for them? Do they learn from that? Seemed like a strange decision to make. So this is a game where you will do that because you're playing up against UAB. If you're playing up against UAB, if that's what the scheme is, then you would do it. This is a game that we were winning. Now, whenever I talked about this last week versus Georgia, that was a different story. I didn't really like that as much. I think that we could have probably schemed around having to keep a freshman out there on an island. But like I said, man, and you probably sent that comment earlier than me going on the rant about how this is a good offense. This is why, and some people were laughing at that. They're like, oh, There's no way, and whoop-de-whoop. Guys, listen, on this channel, I think what separates us from any other channel that you will find is that we are true Tennessee fans. We also played the game, we've coached the game, we know the game, and we're going to study it and know this team, know the teams that we're playing up against, what our strengths and weaknesses are versus who we're playing better than anybody else. There's no one else that you will get this type of information from. I can promise you that. So this is really like what we do. So whenever I said, hey, their passing game, their offense is good, I could see there being some issues with our defense. This is pretty much what I meant, like how they came out there and they did some good things. UAB has a good offense. I'm telling you, they'll give other teams trouble. We talked about it after the Syracuse game. People are like, oh, well, it's just Syracuse, and they put up too many yards passing on us. Yes, they did, but at the same time, I think that their quarterback is leading the nation in passing, right, at this point. They have one of the best passing offenses in the entire country because it's not just about the Jimmys and Joes. That's a big part of it, but it's also about the X's and O's. Like, you have to know all of that. So, yeah, I mean, this game for the young guys was about getting better and figuring out, hey, who can run our scheme, what we like to do the best. So that's why I think that we saw some of the things with players being isolated in one-on-one coverage because that's what Coach Banks wants to do. So this one's also saying saw some good things from the backup D line, but the linebackers are still, yeah. I mean, I had to go back and really watch the film. It didn't just jump off of the first watch to me that the linebackers look bad. I think that our defensive line, like you said, they looked good. We didn't get as many sacks in this game. Goes back to my point that this is a good offensive line, but we also need to find some pass rush moves. Jordan Ross, he's very talented. Saw the pass rush moves from him coming out of high school. It feels like that's going backwards. Like we need and it feels like we saw versus Georgia, right? Like we saw him actually, some of the players doing swim moves and stuff. I think that Tyree West might have sat this game out. But yeah, he's the guy that I saw last week giving some moves. Joshua Joseph's doing it. Caleb Herring doing it. Something like you can't just straight up rush into people's teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like you've got to have some type of a counter. So that needs to happen moving forward, or we're not going to be able to generate sacks the way that we want to. All right, so let's get to some more people, or let's get to this next one saying Abu played better after the punt, fumbled, but still not consistent. Yeah, so I didn't like he looked kind of like lackadaisical, and I think the commenters, or that the not the commenters, but the commentators, they said the same thing. Like he looked kind of lackadaisical, can have that, but I don't think that he played horrible. He does need to do a better job tackling though. I think he's missing too many tackles. He's going to do better there. And he's big enough, strong enough that he can tackle people. You don't have to always just go super low. He can kind of go higher up on people that makes the tackle easier so that you're not missing it. But he needs to get better there. Just the entire team from top to bottom needs to tackle better. I don't think that he had a horrible game. There's going to be a lot of folks, and I see this on message boards, and I hate that I even have to go on the message boards just because some of the stuff that's on there is crazy on social media. It's crazy because it's so wrong. But people get angry at a player and then they throw him under the bus. Like people are angry at Boo. That's why I also don't like these narratives that get pushed out there because there's no positive that comes out of that. Like there's nothing positive that comes from that. So Boo, I mean, listen, Planet Star, that's one of the hardest things to play on a football field, period. Very difficult because cornerback by itself, the rules are set up for the offense to win. Number one, you really aren't supposed to be touching them. Okay, if you touch them, they could always throw a flag. So it's just the offense knows what they're doing, the defense doesn't. It is very, very, very difficult, especially playing on the inside where they have a two-way go. Yeah, our stars are asked to be kind of like linebackers. They're asked to do a lot. You have to know a lot. It's not easy. So I think that just off of the first watch, can he play better? For sure. Is he some scrub and he sucks? Absolutely not. And that's something that I've seen out there. But it's just because people are mad at him. So let me see. Let me get to some more. All right. So J Pat, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you for joining us. This one from John Scott. Got to see Peyton break loose. Yeah. So, yeah, it's always good to see that from our backs. Not happy about the 24 points. Yep. I'm not either. Morris looked better than Lewis, I thought. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could make that argument for sure. I just think that you have to look at the total package. Understand that these guys have to be able to pass protect too. So how does Morris look, as far as blocking goes? That's a part of it. But I do think that there's a lot of promise with our young backs. All right, Boo has a future in MMA, if not football. That punch while moving was perfect. Yeah, so Boo, that was a great job forcing that fumble, punching it out, and our defense looks like it does, in my opinion, because we are down how many starters? Yeah, I think that that could be part of it. It's not a whole lot. Like from what I saw out there today, there wasn't a lot of things that were targeted at our cornerbacks. I know that a lot of people will be concerned about Tennessee starting cornerbacks being out. I think that the corners that were out there is like that were starters. They looked good. The backups need to take several steps forward. You know, outside of that, I think that there are some things that we're probably working on, and we talked about that too. Like, let's work on some more zone concepts, see how we look in these different concepts. This is the game to get that done because we can't always just run straight up man-to-man coverage. And then also just being able to tackle well out in space. But as I've said 1,000 times, that's a tough offensive scheme to stop. It is very, very tough. When teams run pro style, but then also they have some like college elements to it, they can do a lot of different things. And they have, good players and all of that. They're bought into their system. It is not easy to play defense. Defense is you're in a losing situation. Okay, like the game, the rules are set up for the offense to win. That's how it's set up. It is very, 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 very difficult. So yeah, I mean, there's things that we can do better, but I just want to make sure that I do highlight some of those things. So yep. Yeah, I definitely think that Red is doing a good job. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does have to get better. We have to take some strides forward. Yep, for sure. I do think that we have to work on just the fundamentals with our tackling. And okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'm not saying that you were saying that, but I have to come out and say that publicly because there's, going to be a lot of people who watch this. They've read some stuff somewhere that's just a bunch of BS, and people are pushing these crazy narratives. People who couldn't, they don't know anything about the game of football, and they're just angry or something. I don't even know what it is. I think most of them are probably just trolls. They're probably not really even Tennessee fans. But had to make sure that I just get out there and let y'all know what we're seeing because like we talked about, man, like we really break down the film. We understand how football actually works. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for my thoughts, y'all. I think that we play well. There's a lot of things for us to build off of. We'll go through the stats some more. Okay. So obviously, whenever you're looking at their passing yards, right, 371 yards, I want to say that they were I'm going to call it close to like 230, 240, maybe 250. Whenever our starters were still out there, several things that I didn't love about the backups coming out there and playing. So a lot of those yards and all of that came from that, they ran the football or they threw it a lot, 52 times. They only ran it 19 times. They figured that, and I thought that they would try to run the ball more. I guess they figured, look, 1.2 yards per carry. I guess that they just figured, hey, man, this is something. Oh, excuse me. I don't know how this thing go. Let me pull this up. All right. So, yeah. So I was just talking about their passing yards here, right? So 371, they threw the football 52 times, only ran it 19 times, 1.2 yards per carry. Of course, they're taking out yards for sacks and all of that, which I think we only had 2, maybe 3. Let's talk about the sacks. Let me see. So ESPN says we had 3 sacks, which is going to bring our average down. We were close to about averaging 4 sacks per game. And I don't even think that there was a lot of them doing a bunch of quick game stuff, which, of course, teams will always utilize. Hey, 3-step drop or just general quick game stuff like now plays and all of that. But, I mean, they were running their offense, we just didn't do the best job of getting pressure versus their offensive line, which I think is pretty talented. They've got some good guys on the outside. I was happy to see Andre Turrentine get an interception. Hopefully that gives him some confidence. But he also missed a tackle pretty early on in this game. Tennessee averaging 5.5 yards per carry. All right, 235 on the ground. This was a game I said, man, Tennessee should be able to rush for about 300 yards, which just takes me back to my point. There's some things that I would love to see us do from a scheme standpoint to put us in a better spot to be able to make those types of plays down the field. Really start Thomas, Morris. I saw some out of Bishop. Those are the only guys that are really making people miss on the second level. Once you get to like linebacker depth, and then third level, once you get to the safety depth, we have to be able to do better at the second level. The offensive line, just off of the first watch, looked very, very good. Proud of pretty much what, everything that we did. It's tough just because I like to really go in there and study and see exactly what was what. But, I mean, I just think that we're going to end up being fine, obviously. Tough game coming up next week versus Mississippi State. And I'm saying tough because it's on the road. Tennessee historically doesn't do well going on the road playing Mississippi State. Okay, that's just how things go for whatever reason. Are we the better team? For sure. Do they have a really good offense? Yes. Does it give us some trouble? Yes. What about their defense? From what I've seen, isn't great. Our offense should be able to generate points, but this is going to be Joey Aguilar's first real SEC road game. How is he gonna play? With all them cowbells and all that type of stuff. Something for us to watch out for. Can we get David Sanders back and get the offensive line? Where hey, Sham love what he's done, but imagine Wendell Moy being on that left side, where I would venture to say that at least 70% of the pressures that we've had over the course of this year has either come from the left guard or from the center. Having a better left guard in Wendell Moy helping out the center will make the pass protection even better, even cleaner, and it's already been super clean. It's already been great. Wide receivers want to see them just like we talked about, go get the football, keep on going and getting it. I think just too many drops, like off Joey Aguilar's interception, which I didn't even talk about because it wasn't on him. That was pass interference that they didn't call. But I just keep on getting better, keep on climbing. Defense, I have some concerns, y'all. I do. This wasn't the worst offense that we faced, but I still do. I think we need to figure out who we are from what coverage is going to work the best for us, because we'll see more offenses that are more pro style. Like I think that UAB's offense, not exactly like Florida's, but with the pro style elements, it's kind of similar to that. And then also obviously Florida has the threat of a quarterback's legs. We didn't really see that too much today. I mean, you can say, hey, if things break down, the quarterback can run. We saw some kind of like wildcat type of stuff. We will see some good offenses that are going to challenge us more than what we've seen up to this point. We've seen all the pro style prototype pocket passing quarterbacks. And we've also seen kind of like a college or like a high school style offense with UGA with a bunch of great skilled players and a quarterback that really he's not necessarily great down the field, but they just isolate, throw deep balls, throw screens. We've seen how all that looks, but pretty soon, like Oklahoma, I'm trying to watch this game on my phone. What's the score right now? I have Auburn winning this one, y'all. We didn't get to go through our picks today, but I do have Auburn winning, and P actually has Oklahoma winning. But guys like that, like a quarterback that's a real baller, like we're gonna see real ballers with an offense that is gonna put you in a lot of different conflicts. We got to get some things figured out, but it always really starts up front. If our guys can be dominant, and I think that this might have been J-Pack's point, talking about some of the guys that we're missing. I just talked about our secondary players, but talking about those defensive tackles coming back. The pass rush takes probably 5 more steps forward once they come back. We need for those guys to eat, because then I think that maybe Coach Tim Banks' scheme, maybe that doesn't look as bad as what some people think once we get more pass rush. But we need to be dominant up front because the offense will put up points. The offense is going to be a problem for any defense in the whole country. I'm telling y'all that right here, right now. There's still a lot that we haven't even shown. And I saw more wrinkles coming out today. But we can't lean on them to outscore everybody. We got to be able to get stops. We have to be able to get off the field better. So I do have some concerns from that standpoint. Now, let me get to some more of these chats, y'all. What else do we have? I'm trying to get back up to where we were. Okay, so there's several more that came in. So this one's from Dirty Higgins saying that Merklinger isn't the answer if Joey goes down. I don't think so either. Listen, I think that Merk is a really good kid. I've never met him. Seems like a really good dude. I don't think that he is either. I think that it's almost criminal that GMAC didn't get some more snaps today. I think that, hey, I totally get it. These guys came in, they worked hard, waited their turn, but at the same time, this is the business of winning. Man, he does not. I don't even know. I think the GMAC needs to be getting more reps, like for sure. So if we ever get into another blowout, GMAC needs to be coming in first. Like there's just no reason that he's not playing at all in this game. Outside of our defense is on the field for almost like a full quarter. It felt like for the whole half. UAB has a really long drive. They can't get off the field. So maybe that kind of like messed up GMAC's reps. But yeah, I don't think that Merck looked very good today at all. All right. Yeah. So, and that was saying the same thing that I'm saying. Those are facts. And what exactly is Sanders' injury? I don't know exactly what his injury is. This is something that we've talked about on Patreon. I actually thought that he would have been back today. So I don't know. From what I've heard, and this is not from any of my inside sources, but from what I've heard, like the same stuff that y'all could hear from whatever website, right? That he's got some stinger or like nerve issues in his shoulder. I mean, that can be pretty serious. I've had several friends growing up playing ball that had to stop playing football because they got too many stingers, you know. So it can be serious. Maybe his must be on the more serious side of it. But I don't know if he could come back next week versus Mississippi State, or if he really needs to be able to practice more and get himself back into game shape, which I don't know what type of shape he's in right now. None of that. But at some point, I'm hoping that he can come back, you know. All right, so let's go on to sorry about that, to pull that one up twice. Let's go on to this next one. Asking, do I think that Merck can break out of his paralysis and play more loose? Seems like he's playing worried, and I don't know, man. Like, it's tough to get into someone else's mind. Hopefully that'd be great if he could, but I would just bank on, man, how are they playing right now? You know, if he shows big strides in practice, that he's doing a better job, then if it's me coaching, then I would put him up over GMAC. But at this point, GMAC, I mean, he'd be on a diet of eat everything, right? Like he's on a eat diet. Get him to gain the weight so that you feel more confident, more comfortable, because he's playing more confident and more comfortable. So he would be my number 2, just based off of what I've seen. Okay. And that's just watching it live. It's easy, like watching it with the all 22, you can really tell who all's open, what were the reads here, more than likely, right? But yeah, there was one that you could see live. Somebody was wide open. I think it was like a 3rd and 5 or whatever. And he's just standing like, dog, throw the football. Just throw it to him. He's wide open. Throw it to him. So need for him to take several strides forward. All right. And so Stingray saying that we need all of our defensive starters. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say that this defense is in a spot right now that I don't think that they're horrible. So please don't take it that way. Sometimes it might sound like that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the defense is horrible. What I am saying is defense typically does win championships. I have concerns for some of the better teams that we're going to face in different situations, right? On the road, so on and so forth. What if the offense has a down game? We need for the defense to step up. I don't think that the defense is going to win us any games. Not right now, but I did see some strides forward, though, with our starters. I did see some steps taken moving us forward. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, we would love to have all of our starters back. Sounds like we should have almost everybody back. Ricky Gibson's not coming back, y'all, this year. There's a possibility, and I think that he would do it, possibility that if we make it, like, deeper into the college football playoffs, that he could come back. I think that he would try to, because more than likely he's going to want to go pro after this season. That will be one of his best opportunities. As far as, you know, some of the other guys, I don't know what they're going to do. I think that they could technically come back. I think that they could get cleared to come back this year. But how does that impact their draft stock? That's a totally different conversation. And people, I mean, you know, you've played football for your entire life. You want to make it to the league. You want to get drafted high. You don't want to mess with that, you know. And I don't even think well, I'll speak for myself, okay? I would not want for him to mess with that either, because the more cornerbacks that we can have, or just players, period, that we can have get drafted, the higher that they get drafted, the more good players that we're going to get to come in. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we could get everybody back, but I don't know if that's going to happen. All right, so, J-Pat, sorry to keep you waiting. All right, so, yep, Trey, Marcus, and crew, yep, so they did, they got to play today. All right, so not happy with the 24 points, but, yeah, I think that Blake Shapen has a really good arm. That's, man, their offense, it's just like ours. It's more like ours last year. But yeah, y'all, that's not a walk in the park for our defense. That is not a walk in the park for our defense. But we should have the answers. I mean, Heupel should be able to tell Coach Banks, hey, this is what you want to do. And we already really know, right? Like, you just run quarters coverage, right? You just run 3 or 4, 5 safeties deep, come up and tackle. That's part of the reason that we've talked so much about the lack of good tackling on this defense. You got to be able to do that. If you can do that and force them just to throw the ball short and to the outside, like teams did to us last year, well, you have a pretty good chance to limit all the big plays, right? Like, make them have to This is going to have to be like a 10, 15 play drive for y'all to score, especially 6. Once you get to the red area, you can switch some things up with the defense. And, the lack of field is Tennessee's friends in those. Is Tennessee's friend in that situation. But, yeah, I think that the young guys, listen, I'm happy. I'm happy that they got to play. But for me, like what I saw out there, it's like they're going to be very good. But right now, man, they look really far away, really, really far away from actually being able to help us. That's a scary thing with our secondary. And that's really all that I'm talking about. I think that our linebackers, they'll probably be fine. But in the up front, those guys are going to be fine. But the secondary really isn't looking good. For the young guys, I don't think that they're ready yet. Like I think that they need probably like this whole year to get ready. So excuse me. Hopefully we can stay healthy. All right. So let's get to some more of these. All right. So at this point, I'd be more comfortable with GMAC. Yeah, I would be too. No question. No question. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. Thank you for stopping by. All right. So Boo has been very disappointing in pass coverage this year. So I'm not going to say that. And we talked about it earlier. I wouldn't say that he's been very disappointing. Is he as good as I would have thought that he would have been? No, but part of that is he missed some stuff, in the offseason. He hasn't been a real part of this team. Like everyone needs reps. He needs more reps, which is why he was out there for such a long time. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe we can get some younger guys in because who else do we have to play at star? Like put some other folks out there. Let him get more reps in practice or something. But, yeah, I don't think that it's been as bad as – I know that some people are really down on Boo, but I'm telling you that is a hard position to play. And, I think that just as far as like the actual coverage numbers leading up to this game, him and J-Mac almost like exact same numbers. You know what I mean? Almost like exactly the same. And Boo's playing less. So, yes, it seems to be coasting. Yeah, I think just on the special teams play, felt like he was coasting. But on actual defense, I think that he was seems to me like he was playing hard. So this one is saying that they love Matthews, but he didn't fight for that one pass. He moved his hands and arms into a basket position. D was on him, and that he should have reached up and grabbed. Yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly what I was saying. Like I think that he could do a little bit more with high pointing footballs. He's probably trying to draw the pass interference there, but you just don't even worry about that. Like, just be such a dog that they have to interfere with you, that hey, this flag's coming because they know that they can't stop me. That's got to be what the mindset is. So this one saying that Merck is not good. Wouldn't mind if he transferred and let GMAC run the show next year. I'm not going to say that Merck's not good. He's just not playing well. I'm not going to, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that he's not good. He's just not playing very well. But yeah, I feel like GMAC and Faison probably going to be the better option. And listen, in an off season, people can get significantly better. But right now, I think he's maybe in his own head. That can happen sometimes too. Quarterback, kicker, punter, a lot of mental stuff with those spots. A lot of mental stuff. You got to be able to overcome it if you want to play on this level. Because, man, pressure busts pipes. You got to be very cool, very even keeled. One of the things that I love about Joey, I feel like I've seen it with GMAC's personality too. They don't typically get rattled. And I could kind of tell that with Joey with some of his interviews once he first came here. You can tell he's just, hey, this is who I am. I'm just being me, and he's comfortable. I don't know that Mark is that comfortable right now, not from a football standpoint. He's got to find that, or he's just not going to be able to play well for us. All right, so this one is saying that Mark didn't look very good today. Yep, so word was a neck or shoulder or nerve injury. I think he's talking about David Sanders. Yep, that's about what I've heard too. All right, didn't look good at all today. Yep. Is lost in the pocket. Yeah, he just does not. He's not. I think that he's in his own head. Yeah, the secondary definitely didn't look great, especially like we touched on with our younger players. So this one is saying that George needs to play because Jake will leave when Faison comes here. Yeah, I think that most people are just like anticipating that Mark is going to leave, but it's not a guarantee that he would leave. He might want to stick it out, but yeah, as I've said several times, I do feel like hard to tell about Faison. You know what I'm saying? Because he hasn't gotten up on campus yet, but GMAC definitely, he looks, I would say, significantly better than Merck does right now. All right. Yeah, so I would say especially once the like backups got in. We're playing a lot of deep coverage. That's part of it. They were giving up underneath stuff. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about you're giving up the stuff underneath. Come up and be able to tackle. We are missing way too many tackles. Busting in coverages. That is very concerning. Very concerning because it's one thing to give up passes underneath when you're playing deep coverage. Come up and tackle, right? Don't blow the freaking coverage. Things like that, that's a problem. That is a pretty big problem. All right, so Syracuse playing the hell out of Clemson. Yeah, I was hoping that they would have been able to get that game back started because I think the Syracuse is going to win that game. We weren't going to be picking that one, in the pregame show today. But if I would have even thought about it, I would have picked Syracuse to go win that game. I think that Dabo's in a bad spot. Let me just tell y'all this, okay? Dabo, he's underpaid. He's trying to underpay these kids. Nobody wants to go play for somebody like that. Drake Quinn, who's part of the Clemson class at this point, probably won't be in that class. He might be flipping to Tennessee for things like that, right? You can't not pay the players and then go out there and you're losing, okay, and you're a preseason pick to do all this stuff. Oh, the offense is going to be great. The quarterback's going to be a Heisman finalist. We're not seeing none of that. The defense doesn't. Nothing looks good. So, yeah, I think the Clemson's in a bad spot, but that would make our strength of schedule look even better if Syracuse could beat them. And then I might actually cheer for Clemson to win out. You know what I mean? Just to kind of help us out. Even though it's hard for me to cheer for Dabo, I don't like him at all. So let me see what else we got in here. All right. So from Miss Terry's Bathwater says the Boo kind of seems like a liability in cover. See, yeah. So there's a lot of people saying that. I have to disagree. But and maybe this is something that we can do. I've been careful with what I put out there publicly with Tennessee, like with the All-22 film, just because I don't want, not to say that, obviously any of the SEC teams, they're going to have people that around the clock, they're watching all the stuff. They're watching the film just like how we do. So, but I've just been careful to put that type of stuff out because I don't want to highlight weaknesses and so on and so forth. But maybe we can do it just so I can break down to people how difficult pass coverage actually is. It is very, very difficult, and also show you J-Mac and Boo side by side. Something else that I will say, and sorry to keep you waiting here, Benjamin, but I think that J-Mac, he needs to take the tape off of his ankles. Like cornerbacks, you shouldn't have tape on your ankles. Your ankles need to be very flexible, and like whatever you tape up, it's just like you're taking the pressure off your ankles and putting it on your knees. We don't need him doing that. So, like we saw him cramping up. I think that part of the cramps that you get in the like calf area, probably because you have tape on your freaking ankles, like you're about to, like you're a 1990s running back. Dog, take that stuff off. Like you don't need to be out there with tape on your ankles. So maybe that'll help him out too. But I think that he's played well. I think that Boo, he's played relatively well. We need to find some more secondary players. All right, so Benjamin, this one's saying that it really just feels like we want Dramad does this year is the difference between a potential natty and a now-win season. So I disagree with that. And the reason that I'm saying it is because our problem isn't necessarily, it's not just going to be with our corners. I think that our corners are going to be relatively fine, right? Because like we showed y'all, they've given up a couple of big passes, but as far as the pass coverage, they're like number 4 with passes given up on the season and like 47% coming into this game. And understand that some of the teams that are over us played up against scrub teams for the whole year. They haven't played anybody yet. So the cornerbacks are going to be fine. That's not really, of course, I would love to have them back. I think that we've got to figure out some things in other places. The coverage with the middle of the field, with the safeties, with the linebackers, how's that going to look moving forward? Because it really hasn't looked great up to this point. Can we get more pass rush? Can we, keep teams from going over the middle because we're playing inside leverage? And if they want to go to the middle, it's going to take them longer, and our pass rush can get there. Like, it's little things like that. So I don't think it's just about Tennessee's corners. I think that the personnel that we have on defense right now, once we get back our defensive tackles healthy, can be good enough for us to win a national title. It's not just about the corners. It's, defense is everybody. So where are we at now? Okay. So, all right, so this one right here. So saying that when Dramad comes back, I want to see Boo, J-Mac at safety. He's a tough one. Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen, but I would love to see Boo playing at safety. I think that he would probably be a better option. And maybe just Turrentine had a bad game versus Georgia. He missed a tackle earlier today too. But Boo's missing a whole lot of tackles as well. He's missing more tackles than Andre Turrentine is playing at star, So, yeah, Safety doesn't look great. Like, I'm not saying that it looks terrible, but it definitely doesn't look like super great at this point. It was good to see Sidney Walton playing out there pretty early. Just from like watching live, I think that he played pretty well. Can he get more burn? You got to know a lot playing at safety. You have to know a lot. It's tough for a freshman to come in and have a full enough understanding playing at safety inside of our system that you would trust him. You know, it's really tough. They have to know a lot of different stuff, and I don't think that you can learn that in a preseason. I think that it takes like a full year of ball. Maybe in some cases it might take 2. It's because there's so much that they're asked to do. All right, so this one, what is Gibson's injury? So he has a torn pec. He had surgery on that, so out, like 4 months? So I think he had the surgery maybe like a couple weeks ago, so that's about what the timetable is. All right, yep, there it is, torn pec. Jamad isn't coming back. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to come back or not. I'm leaning more towards he's not coming back. That's how I'm leaning towards he probably wouldn't. To me, it's more of a risk for him to come back. But maybe, he just wants to play really bad. That's what it would all, it comes down to how does he feel about it? And I know that he's a very confident player, so I'm sure that he doesn't feel like his draft stocks are going to be going down, but is he the same guy? He has to feel like himself. He's got to be just, feeling great, feeling great before I think he's going to come back. And that might take even more time than what a lot of people think. So it's possible that maybe he doesn't come back until more towards the end of the year. And then if it's more, obviously more towards the end, but like a late, like we've only got 2 or 3 games left. Maybe he feels fine, good enough to come back then. What's the point at that time? Like, why would you even come back then? See what I'm saying? But same thing, like we talked about with Ricky Gibson, even later, he could maybe come back deep into the playoffs. Maybe. All right. Yep. So, yeah. Okay. So we've already talked about that. All right. So we've talked about all those things. All right. So this one's saying that he is coming back. Yeah. I don't think that anyone knows that for sure. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you've talked to him. But I think that most people that are like in the know are feeling like, regardless of what they tell you, they probably feel like he's not coming back. If we're just being honest, that's probably how most people that really know what's going on, that's probably how they feel. All right, so this one that we definitely need. Okay, yeah, I of course would love to have him back, but I don't think that that's the biggest issue right now with our defense. Really don't. I think the Boo could be good in the right position. All right, okay, let's see. That's part of being great, though. If you're mentally great, then you're not. Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of mental stuff, man. Like once you get to this level, pretty much everyone's talented. It's about who can separate themselves mentally. All right. That we designed some more passes for Travis. Yeah, I think that the holding call on him too. I think that was ticky-tack. Love the guys going out there playing hard. But yeah, he needs to get more reps. I want to see Ra get back. Good to see Dotson out there. I think that our wide receivers looked good today. Overplaying tackles. Yep. Okay, yeah. So everyone wants him back. All right. Dre's coming home, bro. Oh yeah. Hopefully so. Sounds like it. Yeah, I can't stand Dabo. So we're gonna try to get through these chats real quick, y'all, and then we're gonna go on ahead and hang this thing up, and we will be back tomorrow once we watch the film and all that. Hopefully, P is gonna be able to join us for that. But so this one is saying that Hub said that Jamal wants to play as soon as possible, and any narrative that says otherwise is not true. Well, listen, what I need to tell y'all, okay, is that understand that there are people who get up here and they speak and they're working for the University of Tennessee. They're going to push out, and I'm not saying that anyone doesn't want to play. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am trying to tell you is you've got a person, you've got a cornerback that's got a first-round grade at this point, coming off of big time knee injury. Huge deal for what he plays. You got to use your knee a lot. Now he can take this entire season, do like rehab stuff, get his knee back to full strength, feel fully healthy, and then go and prove at his pro day at the NFL Combine that, hey, I am still that dude. And he could probably still go first round. He's definitely going to get drafted in the top 2 rounds, I think, especially if he runs well, all of that, because he's already put the film out there. And it's not just at Tennessee. He showed that at Oregon State. That's how we knew coming into this that he was going to be a stud. I think that on this channel, we might be some of the only people that were that high on him. We said, hey, he's coming in. He's going to be the best cornerback that we have on this team, and he's probably going to be one of the best that we've had in a long time. You can see it on the film. So I'm saying all that just to say that what does he want to do as far as like what makes the most sense for his future? I mean, I'm going to tell you, I don't think if he ain't feeling super great, I don't think that he would come back and risk his draft stock dropping. So I don't see that happen. So that's where I'm coming from with it. It's not that he doesn't want to play. I'm not saying that he doesn't want. I'm sure that he wants to be out there playing with his teammates. That doesn't mean that he will play. It doesn't mean that he's going to get cleared and that he will choose to play. He might get cleared and choose not to play. I'm leaning more towards that's what he's going to end up doing, just based off of what I know. And y'all can, it would be great if he comes back, but that's about all I can, I don't know how much more plain I can make that without saying too much. All right. So let's see what else we got up in here. All right. So Garrett Cross is saying that we'll be fine if Joey stays healthy and Tim Banks stop playing such soft coverage on third downs and when teams are behind the sticks. Yeah. I think that we got to figure some things out with our defense. I'm very hesitant to put everything just on Coach Banks, though, just because some of it is from a lack of execution, too. Some of it would be the best play call, but people aren't executing. I don't think that there's enough maybe blame going to individual players either. It's not just Coach Banks. I think that's the narrative that's kind of being started up. He's a very good defensive coordinator. He's a very good defensive coordinator. He knows what he's doing. There's some things that he does that I disagree with, but he knows way more about defensive anything than I do, like way more. So I'm not too much questioning it. He knows what his personnel is too. But I hopefully we're going to end up getting that figured out. All right, so this one, saying that the secondary is not that bad. We're just missing too many people for everything to work like it should. Yeah, like we just touched on, I don't know how many of those people we're going to be getting back. We might get back one possibly. That's a big maybe. So they're going to have to, if people are saying, hey, the secondary is not that good right now, just imagine, is this going to be our secondary for the rest of the year? I don't think that the main problem is with our corners. I think that our corners are doing relatively well. We can't give up big plays. If we don't give up big plays, and I think that we're fine there. Safeties have some concerns. Linebackers in coverage have some concerns. And maybe, again, like I said, with some of the play calling stuff, have some concerns. All right. So, yeah, it would be nice if we had Shady Hayward. All right. So, you know what, y'all? That's going to do it. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, but I will be back. Okay, I'm going to be back tomorrow after we watch the film. Like I said, hopefully Pete can join us for that, and we'll tell you. We'll break the whole thing down on what looks good, who needs to take steps forward, so on and so forth. And of course, we're going to be turning the page to Mississippi State. But y'all, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be talking to y'all tomorrow. Thanks, peace. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.